Okay, I gotta do a third take on this video because I didn't have my microphone turned on. All right, circle of fifths, right? I mean, scales, there is probably some basic theory of piano I'm skipping over, but this is all about your scales. And starting with the very first scale would be the C because there's no sharps or flats. It's just all white keys, right? All the C's that exist on the piano. You got C, 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 of different octaves, right? G's. And likewise. So those are, yeah, and so your scale, your C scale would be, right? This is also a C scale. It's just in a different octave. And so the circle of fifths is a counting mechanism to help you find your next scale. So let's start with C. We'll get into we're going to go around this orange circle first because these are the major scales, and then we'll explain what the relative minor is, and then the red is just how many sharps and flats are in each, right? So starting the count at C. Oh, actually, we don't count yet. We play the C scale right here. And then from there, we're going to count up 5 to find our next scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on G. This is our next scale in the circle of fifths, and it is going to contain what? It's going to contain 1 sharp. There's that sharp right there. So to find our next scale, we're going to count up 5 from G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on D. D is going to have 2 sharps in it. There's those 2 sharps. Count up 5 from there to find our next scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on A. A is going to have 3 sharps in it. Count up 5 from there to find our next scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's going to land us on E. E is going to have 4 sharps in it. There's those 4. Count up 5 from there for the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on B. It's going to have 5. There's those 5, basically all 5 black keys. And so count up 5 from there to find our next one. Here we are halfway through the circle of fifths, whereas pretty much you can either use your G flat or your F sharp. But continuing to count before other explanations. So we're in the F sharp. It actually has 6 sharps in it, or 6 flats, depending on if you go with G flat or F sharp. Count up 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, let's go with D flat. D flat becomes our next scale in the circle fifths. Count up 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That leaves us with A flat, which is going to have 5, or what's that? No, 4. It's going to have 4 flats in it. Count up 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on E flat, which is going to have 3 flats in it. Count up 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on B flat. That's going to have 2 flats in it. Those 2. And so count up 5 from there. We're kind of running out of room, so let's start it back down here on this B flat. So count up 5 from here. Well, that's our scale. Count up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That lands us on F. F is going to have 1 flat in it. And then count up 5 from there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we've come full circle around the entire circle of fifths because we're back on C, which is just all white keys. All right. And so then when it comes to these minors, you have the C major, A minor. A is the relative minor simply because, let's take a C scale, go down 3, and there you'll always find your relative minor. 1, 2, 3. That is, it's all white keys. That's why it's its relative. So if we were to go up to the next scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from C, that lands us on G, where we have the one sharp. And now if we take G and we go down 3, 1, 2, 3, that gives us our relative minor. And this relative minor is going to have likewise 1 single sharp in it. And so that's why the relative is associated, the relative minor is associated with the relative major, because they have the exact same number of sharps and flats in it. Let's take the E key, for example. These are our sharp keys in the E sharp, or in the E scale. Its relative minor, 1, 2, 3, is C sharp. It's C sharp minor, I should say. C sharp minor. Exact same sharps and flats. So then when it comes to the whole sharp and flat thing, right, you have, let's just take, so like the white keys, these are all natural keys. The black keys are all sharps and flats. If we were to take this particular one here, this could either be C sharp or it could be D flat. This one could either be D sharp or E flat, depending on what scale you're playing. This is where things just keep going deeper into theory, but generally it's considered where when you're playing, when you're dealing with these three here, this one will usually always be a B key, because just of the natural flow of things. Wherein, if you were to say, I want to use B, I'm going to say B, you're going to deal with 5 sharps. Whereas if you were to say, well, I'm going to deal with C flat, well, now you're dealing with 7 flats. And 7 flats is like, come on, really? I'd have to think about it and write up, some thoughts on exactly why, but G flat, F sharp, that's a either or, because it's 6 flats or 6 sharps, depending on which one you pick. But, oh yeah, the lesser. Pick the lesser of the two. Whereas you can deal with 5 sharps or you can deal with 7 flats. Well, go with 5 sharps because it's less, right? And it's likewise for here. You're going to either choose D flat or C sharp. Well, because it's got 5 sharps, go with 5 flats. You're going to usually always choose a D flat rather than saying C sharp. And I think that pretty much covers most of the high-level detail. Let me know if you got questions.